These two men secretly wants the world to know that they have a man crush on John Cena. This is the Fabulous Ray Brothers podcast, live on Facebook and YouTube. And here are your hosts, Steve and Rob.
All right, and we are here. It's Sunday afternoon. Rob, happy
Hello.
happy Sunday,
Secret man
Rob.
crush on John Cena? What the?
She's probably drinking. You never know that. Me on the other hand, probably not. Rob, you probably so.
Not yet.
But Rob, happy Sunday to you.
Happy Sunday, brother.
Are you ready for the week?
As ready as I'm gonna be.
I guess so. All right, guys. Well, this is the Fabulous Ray Brothers podcast, the midday edition for Sunday. We are doing this a little early during the day because I've got plans, but I want to get the show in anyway. Rob, how was your weekend so far?
It's pretty decent. Went to Indy and visited Friday, and yesterday I just napped a lot. So
Can't beat that, man. Can't beat that.
no.
All right, so today on the show, we're going to talk about the rundown of this week in wrestling, talk a little bit about Monday Night Raw and SmackDown and NXT and AEW this Wednesday night. We will also discuss our top 5 heels in pro wrestling history, which was not easy, Rob. The hard part wasn't coming up with 5 heel turns. The hard part was trying to rank them 1 through 5.
Yeah, there was several. I guess you would say honorable mentions in mine, but I didn't write them down. But there was several. It took me a long time to come up with a top 5.
Right, and I think my 1 and 2 is solid, but my 3, 4, and 5, you can actually put that anywhere on that list.
Yeah, for sure, my number 1 is solid, but the rest of them I think could probably go in any order.
Understand, gotcha. And so after our top 5, we will have a couple of announcements to make. A big announcement in regards to our podcast. We decided to create a new fun concept to the podcast that will be announced later in the show. And tonight we will discuss more about NXT in your house.
Stay tuned.
All right. So first off, it's the rundown. And in the rundown, we're going to briefly discuss what happened on Monday Night Raw, NXT, AEW, and SmackDown. So I watched Raw. I ain't got much to say about Monday Night Raw last Monday night. However, there is breaking news coming out of Monday Night Raw, and that is that tomorrow night on Raw, Rey Mysterio will announce his retirement from wrestling.
Now, do you think that could be a work at all?
I'm thinking so because they implemented this storyline about a year ago when his son was on TV, and how his son was begging him not to retire until he had one match with him. But I'm guessing could be real because the way he went out on Raw in that match with Seth Rollins, where he basically jammed his eyeball into the corner of the stairs. That's probably a way to go out.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting that they just even on this edition of Monday Night Raw, Rollins was still talking about Rey Mysterio and trying to coax him into fighting him again, or it seemed like it was setting up a storyline between the two to go into Backlash possibly, and now he's going to retire. I'm kind of 50. I kind of think it might be a work.
It might be, and I don't know how we did not have discussed this yet, but we have a new member of the Disciple, Austin Theory, has joined has joined Seth Rollins' team.
I see. I think that makes a lot of sense. I like him in the as one of the disciples of the Monday Night Messiah.
Now, do you see a little bit of jealousy coming from Murphy here? Or do you think those two can get along?
I did at first. I thought maybe they would go with that, but I don't know. I hope it works at least for a while because I like the three of them together seem to gel pretty good.
I like this faction they got going on here. The three men. I think they could use one more, or do you think there's enough, Rob?
I mean, what happened to AOP? They're the original part of, the little disciple group, and you don't see them anymore.
That's a good question. Rumor has it that AOP is no longer with Team Rollins here. They just didn't think AOP fit in well. I thought they fit in perfectly, but to have a tag team part of a faction, it's kind of overwhelming.
Yeah. I just wondered where they went. It's just like they fell off the face of the earth. I haven't even seen them anymore on Raw since then. So maybe they got hurt or something. I didn't know.
But you think AOP would be like their bodyguards to the Messiah?
Yeah, I mean, they're big enough to, kind of like how Diesel was to Shawn Michaels for a while. Like, they got the look, and I thought they did fine with their promos, and everything was going good, and then you just didn't see them anymore. I did want to say one thing about Raw was I was happy to see. I thought it was great that Apollo Crews got the United States title. I was happy to see that somebody different getting a title run.
I forgot about that. Wow. Yeah. I'm shocked though, because I thought that Andrade would hold on that belt forever.
Well, yeah, I like Cien Almas as the United States champion too, and I really like Apollo's in-ring abilities. He's really good. He's lacking on the mic skills, but I think he can do better through time. But as far as in-ring, I mean, it's hard to find many people better than him.
Yeah, he could sure use mouthpiece though.
Yeah, he could for sure.
All right,
it would be good to see him maybe turn and get somebody like MVP as his manager or something.
All right, so I noticed that on Monday Night Raw, they are heavily booking the next pay-per-view Backlash, more so than SmackDown is. But they have already announced 5 matches for Backlash. And we have Edge and Randy Orton in what they call the greatest wrestling match ever. That could, kind of overstate it a little bit. But that should be a good match though anyway, regardless.
Also, yeah, I know. I don't know if I don't know. It's hard to call it the greatest wrestling match ever, but it has the capability of being.
Also, on Monday Night Raw, we had a triple threat match with Charlotte Flair, Nia Jax, and I believe it was, who else was it, Rob?
Oh, Natalya, I believe.
Natalya, I think. And Nia Jax wins that triple threat match. So she now gets a title shot at Backlash against Asuka.
That should be a good match. I'm pretty sure they faced each other before in NXT, possibly. But I think they faced each other a few times, but it's always usually a good match. So.
And we have probably the main event of the evening here, if not Edge and Orton, for the WWE Championship. It will be Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley. They've been pushing Lashley big time recently. He hasn't.
I don't know. Like, I can't get excited for Bobby Lashley.
Not even with MVP in his corner?
I do like MVP in his corner better. I I like that, and I think Apollo Crews needs to join up with MVP too, and maybe he will, and he'll have, the WWE champion and the United States champion in his stable, I guess you should say.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as I just can't, I'm way more excited for Apollo Crews than I would ever will be for Bobby Lashley. I guess that's the best way to put it.
And also another match announced for Backlash, and we're kind of like, giving SmackDown a little rub here. We will see Braun Strowman take on both The Miz and John Morrison in a handicap match for the Universal title.
I don't know. I don't like those type of matches, but hopefully it'll be good.
If you remember, last time they had a triple threat match with Strowman was for the Intercontinental Championship, and he lost the belt. Is this a sign that we could see a new Universal Champion at Backlash?
I mean, a possibility. I just hate that. I mean, are they both going to be champion if one of them wins? Like, I don't get it. Are they going to call themselves the Universal Champion?
I don't know, but I know that the last handicap match, the stipulation was whoever gets the pinfall or the victory was the champion, and that was Sami Zayn.
Well, maybe this will be to where the Miz and Morrison split up and face each other. We'll see, though.
Right. We're still a few weeks away from a Backlash, so that could change as well.
But I do think the Miz and Morrison could have some good matches together.
So moving on to NXT, one of their big stories coming from NXT is the Cruiserweight Championship tournament, and Rob, the finals are set.
Yeah, it was a pretty good match. The ending was a little weird. I mean, but overall, I thought it was a pretty good match, and it looks like Drake Maverick will face El Hijo del Fantasma in the finals for the interim Cruiserweight Championship.
And that match will take place this Wednesday night on NXT.
And I actually looked up El Hijo del Fantasma, and that actually means something like, in Spanish, it means like the son of ghost or something like that. Which I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know what his name would be that for, but hey, whatever.
All right, Rob, and go ahead with your next.
My top three for NXT this week. Number 3 was Rhea Ripley and Io against Charlotte and a mystery partner who turned out to be Chelsea Green. I really like Chelsea Green and Charlotte as a tag team. I thought they worked pretty well together. And it kind of looks like that Chelsea Green will be following Charlotte from this point forward, or that's how I took it anyways.
I tell you what, I saw this match, and Chelsea Green, she did a great job in this match. I thought she was her best performance since she joined NXT. It wasn't a fast match. It wasn't a match against a jobber. It was a really good match. I thought she did great. I think she still needs a little bit more work, but I think she'll fit right in NXT.
Yeah, I do. I do too. Number 2 was the semifinals of the Cruiserweight tournament. I was kind of hoping Jake Atlas would win this, but I understand the, Drake Maverick underdog story. I do think that him and Kushida probably should have maybe faced each other, but I understand that would have just drug it out even longer. So we'll see. I kind of have a feeling Drake Maverick's going to win this, especially if they put him over Kushida and Jake Atlas, but we'll see.
Now, Drake Maverick got released.
Yeah, but I'm thinking maybe that was an angle or something. We'll see.
It's a possibility.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's maybe some sort of work that they're doing on us. And number one for NXT this week was the NXT pit fight between Riddle and Thatcher. I thought the match was awesome. I thought those were the perfect two people to put in that match to introduce it. And I love the whole structure of the pit fight.
I love the idea of the pit fight in the ring with no ropes, and the idea of the platform that they used.
Yeah.
And it's like, this brings back some memories of the Lions Den match, where basically it was Shamrock, and he was fighting either Owen Hart or Steve Blackman. But having this in a four-sided ring with no ropes, it looked awesome. It looked a lot better than the Lions Den match. And I like the idea of no pinfalls.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good match, and Thatcher and Riddle are both. I just think they were the perfect two to introduce this match to everybody.
All right, so let's move on to AEW. Not much to say here. I thought NXT had a better show this past Wednesday. However, we did find out that AEW has announced that for the main event at AEW Fighter Fest, we will see Jon Moxley defend the title against the newcomer Brian Cage.
I don't know what to think about that match, but we'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't want to say too much. I don't know enough about Brian Cage to really say much about him.
All I know is that Brian Cage, he was a former Impact World Heavyweight Champion. He comes out at Double or Nothing in the Casino Ladder match. His first night in AEW, he wins the match and gets a title shot like instantly. I don't see where they're going with this. I think Moxley's going to win anyway.
I think Cage is definitely on the juice. I know that.
He is a big dude, man.
But I was happy to see FTR on AEW finally.
Yes, they came out and they saved the Young Bucks from a beatdown, which I was surprised.
Yeah, but I think the two tag teams, I think they definitely respect each other. But I gotta see, you gotta put them in a match like as soon as possible. I wouldn't say on Dynamite itself, but you need to save that for a pay-per-view.
That's probably going to happen at Fyter Fest. Fyter Fest, probably. It's hard for me not to call them the Revival.
Yeah, I mean they're always going to be the Revival to me,
but they're known as FTR. Just like going for Jon Moxley every once in a while, I'll catch myself saying Dean Ambrose. It's just hard to. It's hard to just change it, but I think FTR would be easier to say.
Yeah. Which they were all about FTR. Even in WWE, they would always have it on their trunks. And, I mean, I was glad they chose FTR. I think I like that better than the Revolt.
Oh, I do too. I think that the Revolt sound kind of revolting to me. Okay, so let's move on to SmackDown. And this show was a pretty decent show. I liked it on Friday night. SmackDown opened up the show. They were outside of the Performance Center, and Elias got hit by a car. And the cops arrives, and they found out that the car is actually a rental car that belongs to Jeff Hardy. And in the car, they found an open bottle of whiskey. And
man,
I'm like, I can't believe they went to this route. As many times as Jeff Hardy had been arrested for DUI, they actually went this direction. And I'm pretty sure that Jeff Hardy gave him the okay.
He had to have, surely.
And then Jeff Hardy was arrested for DUI, and at the end of the show, they have announced that Jeff Hardy passed his sobriety test, and his name has been cleared of the driver who hit Elias. So now we have a new mystery on SmackDown: who hit Elias with the car?
God,
so
I'm sorry.
I got a feeling that the hacker will get into this situation here.
Probably.
The hacker will probably eventually let us know or show us who actually hit Elias. Could this be? Now, just to mention that both Jeff Hardy and Elias, they were both in the Intercontinental Title Tournament.
Yeah,
So
the reason I was laughing is because the first thing that popped in my mind when you said who hit Elias was The Rock imitating Rikishi. That I did it for the Rock.
So could this be somebody who was in the tournament that got eliminated, or could the driver be the hacker himself?
Possibly, or I mean, maybe it's just somebody trying to set up Jeff Hardy. I don't know what's going on anymore. But I didn't get to watch all of SmackDown. I got to see some of it.
Yeah,
because I was in Indy at that time. But I don't know. I was really surprised that, like you said, that they went with the whole drunk driving angle. And I've seen some podcasts this week with Matt Hardy's opinion on it. I haven't got to watch them yet, but I would think he would probably have something to say. And I'm actually surprised Jeff Hardy went with it.
I've heard a lot of wrestlers have their opinions on it, and maybe we'll get to that in another show.
Yeah,
I haven't found out yet what they said. Also, to move forward, after this incident, they go backstage, and you see a producer talking to part of the locker room. And this producer, Rob, you may not know this guy, but I kind of recognized him before. This producer, his name is Adam Pearce.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you heard from him before, but he's like a multiple-time NWA heavyweight champion.
Huh.
He is actually in the NWA Hall of Fame.
Dang.
But now he's working as a producer for SmackDown. So he's announcing the locker room about what happened to Elias and that Jeff Hardy has been arrested for DUI, and they are trying to figure out the situation because of the Intercontinental Title Tournament.
So they arrested him for DUI, but then came out later and said he passed his sobriety test.
After the show was over.
Huh. Well, it sounds like both somebody trying to set up Jeff Hardy and get rid of Elias at the same time.
Right. So in the backstage, you have Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles, and AJ Styles saying, "This is great." So it's going to be neat. It's going to be AJ and Daniel Bryan for the title, and then Daniel Bryan says, "No, that's not right. We should have a match. Smash should take place." Well, AJ actually calls Daniel Bryan, "What are you, an idiot?" And he goes, "I get a free right to the finals. I'm taking it." So Adam Pearce says, "Okay, AJ, you had that right for your free ride. But Daniel Bryan, what do you want to do?" Daniel Bryan decides that he wants a match to take place to go into the finals. And so back there, you also have Sheamus, you have Baron Corbin, Shorty G, Cesaro, and they're all arguing on who should be taking that spot to face Daniel Bryan. Well, Adam Pearce announces at the open the show they will have a 10-man battle royal, and the winner will face Daniel Bryan to go ahead to the finals for the Intercontinental Title Championship match next Friday on SmackDown. So the battle royal takes place, and Sheamus wins the battle royal. So later on that night, Sheamus is going against Daniel Bryan, and the winner will face AJ Styles for the title at SmackDown. And what comes to that is that Sheamus actually wins the Battle Royal, but he's facing Daniel Bryan for a second time, and he still loses Daniel Bryan. So, yeah. So next Friday on SmackDown for the Intercontinental Championship, it's Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles.
That's crazy. I mean, that's as a finals though. As a wrestling fan, we should all be happy because that's probably the best opportunity that we're going to have at a really good match for the Intercontinental title. By the way, we have a angry, bitter Redskins fan in the chat. I don't know what's going on. He's just talking all kinds of stuff, talking about hell to the Redskins.
Oh, good Lord.
I think he might be drunk or something.
I don't know. Anyways, to finish up SmackDown, let's talk about the Hacker for a minute. So we've seen the Hacker on SmackDown for many weeks now, and you see his promos where he's sitting at a desk looking at all these monitors, and as of right now, they were just monitors looking at stars of SmackDown. But just recently, on a promo, he's not only looking at SmackDown superstars, but he's looking at Raw superstars such as Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, I think. Oh God.
Eric Hines is bullshit. He is not the Hacker.
I think I figured out who the Hacker is.
All right, Rob, give me your prediction of who the Hacker is.
I have it figured out. It was just like it was the same person who was the higher power.
You think it was Vince?
It was me, Austin. It was me, Austin, the whole damn
Vince
time.
McMahon. Man, we haven't seen him in a while, have we?
No, because he doesn't. I think he's. I don't know. I think he's like older now and just doesn't want to be on camera as much. Doesn't want to be part of the storyline as much. But I haven't seen. Well, I don't get to watch SmackDown all the time, but I don't remember seeing Shane recently either. So.
I'm gonna throw this out there on a limb. And if he is the Hacker, then this would be great television. But I think if the Hacker was Bruce Pritchard and make him a TV personality for SmackDown, that would be great TV.
Yeah, I like Bruce Pritchard. He has a really good mind for the business. He's definitely up there with some of the rest of them.
Eric has a question for the podcast. What about Shane? Well, I don't know about Shane. We ain't seen Shane in what, about a couple of years?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say a couple, but it's probably been at least probably about a year.
I mean, it could be an authority figure. We don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They've done the bringing Shane back, and honestly, my hopes are that it's CM Punk. I was kind of kidding about the whole Vince McMahon thing, but I mean, I hope it's CM Punk, but I don't think it is.
It could be Triple H.
Yeah, that's possible too.
All right. So let's move along from the rundown. And next, it's our top 5 heel turns in professional wrestling history.
Yeah, and I think we talked about before we went on the air. My number one is legit, probably everybody's number one if you're a wrestling fan. But outside of that, they probably could win in any order, and there was probably some on my honorable mentions, which I did not write down, but there's probably some on my honorable mentions that could have made the top 5 easily too. So.
All right. So let's start with the top 5, and my top 2 was probably solid. My 3, 4, and 5, you can move those anywhere in that range. But I'll start with my number 5. And my number 5 is the Macho Man Randy Savage when the Mega Powers explode with Hogan.
Yeah, it was definitely a good heel turn. I think inevitably, not at the time because I was younger, but as a wrestling fan looking back on it now, we probably all should have seen it coming at some point, especially when the jealousy started and all that. But it was definitely up there as far as heel turns go.
Now, just saying, the Macho Man could easily be my top, either be 3 or 4 or
Yeah.
5. It was just so hard for me to rank 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, it's like I said, any of these could have been in my top 4. Number 1 was
Yeah,
regardless, but
we'll get to that here later.
um,
But Rob, go ahead with your number 5.
my number 5 is going purely off. I remember this, and I remember being angry, and that was Sergeant Slaughter turning on America and going to the Iraqi side of things.
Oh man,
Ended up turning into a WrestleMania match against Hogan, and I just thought he was all America all the time, and then for him to just turn on America and join the other side at the time, which was Public Enemy #1, was a really good heel turn, and I know he took a lot of heat for it.
what I remember about this, Rob, is at one point we saw him burning the American flag,
Yeah,
and when it got to, I believe it was the Royal Rumble when Sergeant Slaughter defeated the Ultimate Warrior for the title.
mm-hmm.
That night,
I think
Hulk
that
Hogan,
that was with Macho Man's help too, wasn't it?
yeah, the Macho King,
Yeah,
yeah. So that night, Hulk Hogan went to Royal Rumble, and after the Royal Rumble, he's in backstage talking to Mean Gene, and then Slaughter comes out of nowhere with a ball of fire and just burns Hogan's face.
yeah. He had some definite heat on him. I've read stuff and heard stuff where he got death threats, and there was some heat on him, some real heat.
Oh yeah. All right, so to move along, my number 4, and Eric may not like this, but my number 4 was Bret the Hitman Hart, and this was back at WrestleMania 13 when they did the double turn.
Yeah,
And they turned Bret Hart heel and have him rejoin the Hart Foundation.
yeah. That was possibly the best double turn in wrestling ever. But
I love the fact that Bret Hart turned heel here, and he went on to that uh, anti-American promo where it was like Canada's better.
yeah,
I thought Bret Hart was his best as a heel. Not saying he wasn't good as a baby face. He's a hell of a wrestler, one of the best ever. But his heel work was top notch, like top 3 best heels.
yeah. I think there are just certain wrestlers, and Bret was one of them that just work better as a heel. They're just more believable as a heel, I guess. My number 4 was when Stone Cold sold his soul and joined up with Vince McMahon. After all they had been through, one of the biggest storylines in wrestling history, he turned and sold his soul.
Yeah, that was. I was very excited for that because I wanted Austin to win the belt.
Yeah.
And I remember watching WrestleMania 17 at B Dubs, and the whole crowd. I mean, even the people there in the restaurant went ape shit when Austin won the belt. It was like actually being there at WrestleMania. It was that intense.
Well, that angry Redskins fan in the chat said that Bret didn't turn on America. America turned on Bret.
Yeah, and Bret didn't screw Bret either, did he, Eric? Yeah. Anyways, so my number 3, we'll move along, and my number 3 is Seth Rollins when he turned his back on the Shield.
That was awesome. I was there.
You were there. Eric was there. I was not there. I had to work. And however, I wasn't able to see this live. I was like at work when I got your text, and like, oh shit, are you kidding me? So I'm at work, I'm hopping on the internet at work, trying to find footage of this shit, and like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah, me and Eric knew, like, we knew it was going to happen before, like, before anybody else in the crowd, well, at least around us, was even talking about it. Like, because we seen Seth Rollins step back, and we were like, oh, shit, something's about to go down.
So, Eric, you're correct. There's always a plan B.
Always.
And that plan B was Seth Rollins.
And Rollins went on to, well, actually, all of them after that, they were all good singles wrestlers, and they all went on to, have success after that, even as singles wrestlers. My number 3 is possibly what made one of the, if not the biggest feud in wrestling history, work, and that was Andre turning on Hogan.
Oh no! I forgot about this, man. Why did I forget about this?
But Andre turning on Hogan set up pretty much made, it put WrestleMania on the map. So, and it was believable and everything. I mean, it was perfect. Like Andre ripping off his necklace and, Hogan acting like he didn't know what was going on, why he did that. And I just remember literally being scared to death for Hogan when I was a kid because I thought Andre was going to kill him.
And you know what? Maybe Andre should have.
Yeah.
Not literally, but just imagine if WrestleMania 3 turned out and Andre the Giant became the champion at WrestleMania 3.
Yeah.
Would that be a bigger moment than Hogan winning?
Maybe. But I think at that time, Andre was older in his career, and I think he was ready to pass the torch, and he was ready to put Hogan on the map. And thankful for that, well, I'm sure it was Vince McMahon, because it just caught fire after that.
Then in that case, why do you give the belt to Andre at Sunday Night's Main Event?
I don't know. I don't know why they did that. I guess just to continue the whole
storyline between Hogan and Andre, the feud. All right. And my number 2, which is a solid 2, it's the infamous scene in the barbershop. Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. You could tell.
I'll just go ahead and tell you that's my number 2 also.
Okay. Oh. So I remember watching this on TV. It was a Sunday morning, Superstars. And you could tell that this was going to happen, though, eventually. Did we want it to happen? No, we didn't want it. I didn't want it to happen. I wanted the Rockers to go on and win the belts. They somewhat never did.
Yeah.
But just you knew it was going to happen. You didn't know it was going to happen then, or in the barbershop. Because back then, Rob, when you had heel turns, they happened during the matches, not during a promo.
Yeah.
But when Shawn Michaels just gave Marty Jannetty that super kick, the whole world changed, man.
Yeah, I mean, it boosted Shawn Michaels into superstardom, and Jannetty never really. I mean, he was Intercontinental Champion, I think, before, and Shawn Michaels was just the better of the two. But I hate the fact that it seems like the Rockers as a tag team, a lot of times are overlooked as, one of the better tag teams, at least of the 90s. Like,
well, that's true. However, they were supposedly one time they won the belts from the Hart Foundation.
Yeah.
However, for some reason about issues with Jim the Anvil Neidhart, they thought he was going to leave the Federation. He came back, and for some reason, they just wrote the results and erased the results out of the book and put the bus back on the Brett and Jim the Anvil.
Yeah, I've read about that a couple times, but I just think I don't think they were like the best tag team of the '90s, but I think they deserve a little more chatter than what they get when people bring up good tag teams. Because to me, they were not quite as popular, but they were kind of like the Rock and Roll Express of the '90s.
So my number one, Rob, and I know it's your number one too. Should we go by the Immortal or Hollywood? But
I would say Hollywood.
It's Hulk Hogan.
When Hollywood, the day Hollywood was born.
And this happened at Bachelor Beach. I want to say 95, Rob, or 96? 96?
I think 96, but I'm not sure.
This was a shocker. This came out of left field. We all wonder who the third man was. But no, I'm telling you right now, I had no clue it would be Hulk Hogan. Not one. I thought maybe it was somebody else coming in from the Federation.
Yeah, I thought. I think that was probably last on everybody's list would have been Hulk Hogan, and that's what made it so good because he had never done anything like that before, and nobody ever expected him to.
Well, yeah, because Hulk Hogan never goes heel.
And I've watched a lot of stuff about it, and I do believe at least some of the credit for everything was, I think Scott Hall had a lot to do with that angle. I do think they wanted Hogan to do it, and he, up to pretty much the last minute, was saying he didn't really think he wanted to. And they were actually going to go, if it wasn't Hogan, it was going to be Sting.
Yes. From what I know, that they did not know that Hogan was going to join until he showed up to the arena that night.
Yeah, I think they were all, like I said, they were all in doubt. Because when it was originally pitched to him, he said no. And then he started thinking about it, and finally ended up, like I said, almost last minute, saying, okay, I'll go with it.
So there was even talks of Hulk Hogan going back to the WWF. His because I believe he only signed a 2-year deal with WCW.
Yeah.
And his 2-year deal ended up in the summer of '96. And that was right before Bash to the Beach.
As a wrestling fan, that's got to be your number one heel turn ever.
Oh, no doubt.
That was a jaw-dropping moment.
So that's our top 5 heel turns in pro wrestling history. And next, we have an announcement to make. This announcement I would say it will change the way we do podcasts, Rob.
Yeah.
It's a new concept we've been talking about, and we're actually going forward with this. We are going to do another show, a second show during the week. It's going to be called Virtual Pro Wrestling, or VPW. Now, you may wonder, right, what the hell is VPW? Well, this will be our new concept to the podcast. VPW is a promotional wars simulation game based from the Fire Pro Wrestling World video game, in which we will book and simulate matches and crown champions. Rob and I will have our own roster of 8 single wrestlers and 2 tag teams. And tonight on this podcast, we will conduct a draft that will feature 10 rounds of selections from any promotion in the world. You can choose wrestlers from the 80s, the 90s today. You can choose WWF, WCW, NWA, New Japan, Ring of Honor. You can choose anybody, and they'll be available. We will have our weekly shows on Thursday nights, and time is permitted. We're not sure if we're going to go for an 8 o'clock show, but we're thinking about that. We'll let you know in a couple of days. But we will have our first virtual pro wrestling show this Thursday night. Our first event will be called VPW Final Four, in which all the matches will be a 4-way elimination match to crown new champions. We will have 4-way matches, and that will be discussed more along in the show here. But just give you guys a sneak peek of what this game actually looks like. Here's a screenshot of the video game. It doesn't look realistic, but it looks more like an arcade style game. But you can tell who the wrestlers are. Like on the left, you can tell that's Kurt Angle. Up top is Samoa Joe, and then you have that bastard Pac on the left. And then you have Daniel Bryan on the right. You have Finn Balor, Rob Van Dam, Jeff Hardy, and you have Y2J Chris Jericho. Rob, what do you think about this?
I think I'm excited about it. I hope that there's several people interested in at least keeping up with it. It should be. I've never done anything like this, but it sounds exciting.
Yes, these matches will be fast-paced matches. They will. Some matches could go long. We don't have a time frame on when these shows will end or how long they last. But it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. We're not gonna play. We're just gonna watch and enjoy the action.
Yeah, I think it'll be different. I like it. Hopefully, maybe we can get Eric or some other people in on it and get some more wrestlers at it eventually. But I think it's definitely gonna be fun.
Right.
If nothing else for us.
And we're willing to take on requests on wrestlers that you might want to see in the matches. And we might have somebody that can join us and have their own roster.
Yeah, I think the more wrestlers, the more rosters, the better. But we'll see how it goes.
All right, Rob. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Because it's time for the virtual pro wrestling draft. In this draft, there are 10 rounds. We will select 8 singles wrestlers, 2 tag teams, and just to throw in a little wrench here, Rob, we will go ahead and announce that our first 4 selections are going to be singles wrestlers, and these first 4 wrestlers will battle it out Thursday night in a Final Four match for the FPW World Heavyweight Champion.
Sounds good. I'm ready to go.
All right. So let's get ready here. And Rob, you are RWF, Rob's Wrestling Federation, and you are on the clock.
Well, I'm going to go with the Chicago-made Punk.
Oh, wow. Nice pick.
CM Punk.
CM Punk number 1. So he will be in the match for the World Heavyweight title. And over here, it's Steve's Championship Wrestling, SCW. I am picking. I don't know who to pick now. You got Punk. All right. I'm going to go old school here, and I'm going to pick the immortal Hulk Hogan. So
Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan has joined FCW. I got him on the phone early this morning. He's happy to join us.
So we're talking about the red and yellow Hogan.
Yes, the red and yellow Hogan, but he's got his uniform. If he wants to go Hollywood, he can.
Yeah.
We'll wait and see. But Hulk Hogan has signed with SCW. Lock him up.
For my number 2 pick, I will go ahead and go with my boy, the Monday Night Messiah, Seth Rollins.
Nice pick. Now, is this Monday Night Messiah? Is this the Shield, or it could be both?
Yeah, for now it's just going to be Rollins.
If I spell his name right. Son of a bitch. All right. My number 2 pick. Man, this is going to be a tough one. See, you're looking at current stars, not really old school. I'm going to throw you a curveball here, Rob.
Uh-oh.
I'm going outside the federation here, and I'm picking for my number 2 pick, who had just signed to Steve's Championship Wrestling, the cleaner, Kenny Omega.
Oh.
So this will be our world title match in a Final Four match. CM Punk, Hulk Hogan, Seth Rollins, and Kenny Omega.
Should be a good match.
And just to let everybody know, we will actually announce this after the draft. But the Final Four matches that we're going to have on Thursday night, you can win the match by eliminating your opponents by pinfall, submission, or over the top rope and onto the floor.
Oh.
All right, Rob. So let's go with your number 3.
Number 3. Oh. Who am I going to pick here? Let's go ahead and go with Aleister Black.
Ooh. That's an interesting pick. That is very interesting. Damn it. All right, so my number 3. Oh man, I'm picking number 3. Oh, let me see here. All right, I'm staying in the Federation. This guy, he is a 2-time Ring of Honor champion. He is currently the longest reigning NXT champion. He is Adam Cole.
Baby.
So Adam Cole's my number 3 pick. We had lunch earlier today. He is happy to come aboard SCW.
Oh man. Number 4, I'm going to go Triple H.
Ooh.
The King of Kings.
Triple H. Interesting. Which means number 4, I'll do you one better, Rob. Number 4, I'm going with the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
Well, DX is split up now. Ooh, let's see. Number 5. Oh, let's see. Who do I want?
Before you go, man, I think I misspelled Aleister Black.
Ah, well, people know who it is.
I guess so.
I'm sure they can make it out. Let's see. Number 5, let's go ahead and bring in a little NXT and go with Tommaso Ciampa.
Ooh. I don't even know how to spell his name either.
Yeah, that's close enough.
But my brother Eric likes to call him Tomato champion.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So my number 5. Ooh, my number 5. I'm gonna go old school here, and in my opinion, he's probably one of the greatest technical wrestlers of all time. I'm going with Mr. Perfect.
Mr. Perfect. I like Mr. Perfect. He's one of the more underrated wrestlers, I think. Number 6, I'm going to go ahead and go with possibly the greatest wrestler of all time, Ric Flair.
Ooh. Okay, he's on here. On here. All right, number 6, and I can't believe he fell this far. I just can't believe it. My number 6 is the man, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I'm surprised. I let him fall that far. Oh, man. Let's see here. So number 7, I will go. Let's go with The Undertaker.
It's crazy how these stars, like Stone Cold, Taker, and Flair, have fallen deep down in the ranks.
Yeah.
But there's just so much
just having to come
talent.
up with people on the fly because neither one of us made a list for this. So
No, I'm going off my brain here. Number 7. So I got Hogan, Kenny Omega, Adam Cole, Shawn Michaels, Mr. Perfect, Stone Cold Steve Austin at number 7. Ooh, tough call here. There's so many damn good wrestlers out there. Okay, I'm going for it. I'm just going out of a limb here. I'm picking Kane at number 7. Bigger Machine Kane.
At number 8, I was hoping that he would last this long. I figured he would. I'm going to go with my boy from AEW, Hangman Page.
Ooh. Adam Page. Well, Rob, this is the last singles competitors because our last 2 has to be tag teams. And Rob, you and I might make a trade here.
All right.
At number 8, I'm going with the Apex Predator, Randy Orton.
Oh. Yeah, definitely. I'm an Orton fan for sure.
And so these last 2 picks has to be tag teams.
All right. Well, with number 9, I'm going to go. Oh, man. I'm deciding between 3 tag teams here. This is bad news. I guess I'll go ahead and go with the Revival or FTR, whatever you want to call them.
FTR. All right. And number 9. So I've already picked Shawn Michaels, so I can't have the Rockers. No DX. But I'm going to bring in you have FTR. All right. I'm bringing in Axe Smash Demolition.
That's what Eric just said in the comments.
I did not read that. Axe Smash Demolition is my number 9 pick. And Rob, your last pick in tag team is?
My last pick, I consider them a tag team. They're one of my favorites of all time. They're not my favorite of all time, but definitely one of them. And that would be Hall and Nash, the Outsiders.
Wow. How would not pick any of those as singles wrestlers?
Yeah, I don't know, but
Hall and Nash, the Outsiders, which means at number 10, we gotta we gotta bring him on board, Rob, because he's a big name, one of the best tag teams of all time. We just can't leave him out. He's a Hall of Famer, but I gotta have Bret Hart, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, the Hart Foundation. Gotta have him.
I like the Hart Foundation. They were my favorites. See, I didn't know if I wanted to go. I was gonna go either Hall and Nash or the Dudley Boys because the Dudley Boys is my favorite ever. So,
but here's the deal, Rob. These rosters aren't final.
Yeah,
we can always have the free agency. We can always switch in and out. We can do trades. So it's we have some big names here.
It looks like Eric's happy that you picked the Hart Foundation.
So we don't have Sting. We don't have the Ultimate Warrior. We don't have The Rock.
So that's why we need more. We need more people. We need some other people to join and bring some of these other wrestlers into the fold here.
All right, so that's our draft for VPW. And it's locked in, Rob. So, about your picks, Rob, I wasn't surprised your picks. CM Punk, Rollins, and Black.
Yeah.
And Ciampa. Or Ciampa.
I think it's Ciampa, but whatever.
I'm surprised you didn't pick Stone Cold.
Yeah, I was too.
Of course, you see my list. No surprise. Omega, Cole, Michaels, perfect. Of course, on your side, Adam Page, FTR.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised you didn't pick Jericho because you seem to be somewhat of a Jericho fan.
Well, I don't mind Jericho. Oh my God! How we forgot Eddie Guerrero?
Yeah, but like I said, hopefully other people will join and we get some more wrestlers and have some different matchups. And
all right, I'm gonna go in the chat room here. And Eric says this. Get the tables.
I saw that.
You know what? You know what, Eric? If you want to join in on us, you can have the Dudleys. Just saying. If you want them, you can have them. But other than that, it's just me and Rob for now. We're not taking in everybody. Not everybody's going to join. But, so, all right. So, the draft is over, Rob. How do you feel about your picks?
I'm happy. I mean, I'm sure there's one or two people that will come to mind later, and I'll be like, crap. I should have picked them, but overall, I'm pretty happy.
Because now the draft is over, Rob. You can now switch if you want.
Yeah, if I think of anything, I'll definitely let you know.
Okay, or we can make trades.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of FPW Final Four, that will be live Thursday night, June 4th at 8 p.m. We will have 4 Final Four matches to crown brand new VPW World Heavyweight, Intercontinental, United States, and Hardcore champions.
I'm ready for the hardcore matches.
The hardcore match is going to be unique. Rob and I will discuss whether it'll include barbed wire, weapons, what kind of weapons they have, explosions. It could be a barbed wire rope. That could be crazy. Also, we will have a 4-team tag team round robin tournament to crown the new VPW champions. This is going to be a unique tournament because we will not really see any action here. These matches will be fast paced. It'll be over in seconds. We're just trying to figure out winners here.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to see what happens for sure.
I did a test run, Rob, of the tournament, the round robin tournament, and there'll be 6 matches altogether in this tournament, and there was like an average time about 20 minutes match. So
It shouldn't. I mean, it should go pretty quick. I'm
yeah,
excited for it.
matches won't take no time because we're going to fast forward the matches, and we're just going to get results. But the final four matches will take place at regular speed. We'll see some action Thursday night on June 4th, 8 p.m. Also, this Sunday night. That's night. Next Sunday night, we'll come to you live with our reaction show to NXT TakeOver in Your House. We'll be going live at 7 p.m. Rob, you're gonna be there, correct?
Of course, I'm ready for this. I know they've announced some matches. I'm pretty excited for all the ones they've announced so far. It should be a good pay-per-view.
Right, and hopefully we'll get some guests coming in to the show, calling in live. Anybody who wants to join in on the show, hang out with us, talk to us for a little bit, just let me know. But that's it. Next Sunday night we will go live, NXT in Your House. And Rob, anything else you want to say?
Well, I would say we'll probably start maybe 20 minutes or so before it actually starts so we can do our predictions, or we may just do our predictions before the match starts. I don't think we've totally decided on which one we're going to do. But I definitely hope everybody shows up and, let's have fun and watch some wrestling and take our mind off some of the other crap that's going on in the world.
Rob, I think pay-per-view starts at 8 o'clock.
Oh, is it?
I think so. Let me double check on that. But because usually NXT pay-per-views start at 8 o'clock. Let me check on that for you real quick. NXT in Your House. What time does that start? Give me some here. Trying to find it, Rob. Just give me 1 minute here. Actually, it is 7 o'clock. So it is 7 p.m. So we'll probably go 20 minutes or half an hour early on this for our predictions. It's only 5 matches.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's going to take forever to get it done. So, I guess we'll end the show here, Rob. Not a bad show. We didn't go long.
No, it's probably our shortest show so far.
And we meant it, though. We're trying to keep this about an hour.
Yeah, we just don't want them to. We don't want to have like a 2-hour show every time we're on. So, an hour, 10 minutes or so. That's fine.
All right. So when the show here, everybody who is tuning in, thank you for listening, and we will see you next Sunday night.
Everybody stay safe.
Peace.